Okay, hi guys. So for 5 and 6, you need to basically draw the figures out. So it tells us that we have a 1.6 meter tall woman standing next to the Eiffel Tower. At this time of day, her shadow is 0.5 meters long, and at the same time, the tower's shadow is 93.75 meters long. We want to know how tall the Eiffel Tower is. So the idea here is that you have the sun up here. We have a sun up here. Okay, the Eiffel Tower is right here. It's going to cast a shadow, right? The sun rays are going to come down, and we're going to cast a shadow, right? The shadow is on the ground, so it's telling us the tower shadow is 93.75. Okay, and it wants us to know how tall it is, so we're going to put an X there. And it's also telling us a 1.6 meter tall woman, so she's 1.6 meters. It's going to cast a shadow on the ground that is 0.5 meters. So the angle of the sun, right, is going to be the same. Right? Essentially, the sun's so far away, the angle is essentially the same. So we're going to say there's one pair of congruent angles. Right? The tower and the woman are both standing at a right angle, perpendicular to the ground. So we have angle-angle similarity. Tells us those triangles are similar. So we can now set up a proportion to solve for the missing piece. So x in the first triangle, right, would correspond with 1.6 in the second triangle, and then 93.75 in the first triangle is going to match up with 0.5 in the second triangle, and you can cross multiply to solve for how tall the Eiffel Tower is. Okay, the next one is just like that. So Carl is standing next to his house. He measures his shadow and the house's shadow, right? Again, the shadow, I don't know why students have so much trouble with this, but the shadow is on the ground, right? If you think of yourself as outside, on a sunny day, where's the shadow? Your shadow is on the ground. So that's going to be the base of your triangle. The Carl's shadow and then the house's shadow. And then we're figuring out the height of the house. We have Carl's height, we have the length of the shadows. Draw it out, draw your triangles out, set up your proportions, and solve. Okay, for 7 through 10 here, so right, we've told you to skip 7, right? Don't worry about number 7. We're looking at our triangles here. And they're telling us they're going to be similar. So what we have to do is solve for the missing pieces here. So again, if it helps to redraw your triangles out, right? So this first small one here, you have x minus 1, and then you have 6. For the big one, right, this is going to be 6 plus x, and then the bottom here is going to be 2x plus 4. Okay. Right? So 6 is going to match up with 6 plus x. Right? And then x minus 1 is going to match up with 2x plus 4. Right? So there's your proportion. Right? And then from there, it's just some algebra. So we cross multiply, you're going to have 6 times 2x plus 4. Right? And then you multiply this out, you're going to have 6 plus x, right? And then x minus 1. Okay. You're going to have to distribute, so 6 times 2x is going to be 12x. Right? 6 times 4 is going to be 24. Right here, you're going to have to FOIL out, right? First outer, inner, last. So 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 1 is minus 6. Right? X times x is x squared. And then x times negative 1 is minus x. Okay. Then you're going to have to combine like terms. You're going to have to get everything on one side. You're going to have a quadratic. And then you're going to either have to factor or use the quadratic formula to solve. Okay. So that is, but the most important thing here is that you set up the right proportions. Okay, just make sure you set up the right proportions. If you struggle with the algebra, that's okay. The important thing here is that you set up the correct proportions.